Hello, my name is Araceli Ordaz, and I'm the principal of Maplebrook Elementary, home of the Wildcats. For some of you, this will be the first time that you will send to us a kindergarten student. You may be feeling anxious and excited about what this process will look like. For others, you've already had the opportunity to send to us a kindergarten student, but still feel anxious and nervous about the process as well. The information we hope to present to you today hopefully alleviates some of your questions and your concerns and allows you to continue to get excited about what is to come. Today is really about beginning the conversation about what your child will experience while with us at school. We want to provide some information about the curriculum and the resources about the kindergarten program. What does our kindergarten program offer? Well, we have highly competent and functioning kindergarten teachers who have excellent reputation for making sure that your student has the ideal curriculum and resources to help him or her grow. Certainly, learning activities are developmentally appropriate and gives your student multiple opportunities to share what they have learned. Now, let's learn more about the kindergarten program from the experts, our kindergarten team.
Hello, kindergartners and kindergarten families. My name is Angie Magnuson, and I will be one of the kindergarten teachers for your kiddos next year. I've been teaching for 10 years now, so this will be my 11th year, and this will be my 5th year here at Maplebrook. And I am so excited to start a brand new kindergarten year and meet all of you and your wonderful kiddos.
Hi, I'm Jenny Hoffman. This will be my 3rd year at Maplebrook. I've been teaching this will be my 10th year. And I'm looking forward to meeting our newest members of Maplebrook. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you and your child and having a wonderful year, having fun together.
Hi, I'm Katie O'Neill, and I am also one of the kindergarten teachers. This is my 7th year teaching and 6th year at Maplebrook. And like they said, I am also just so excited to meet our new kindergarten friends as well as get to know the families. Okay, so this slide talks about what our typical kindergarten day looks like, and it breaks it down by showing daily minutes spent within each content area, as well as the weekly minutes spent within each content area. And just a note that these are approximate times and it could vary year to year. Okay, so this is a list of skills that we will be working on throughout our kindergarten year in the area of literacy. So we will be having our kindergarten friends identifying all of the uppercase and lowercase letters of the alphabet. They will work on producing all of the sounds for consonant as well as short and long vowel sounds. They will be learning 35 of our high frequency words. And throughout the year, we're going to be reading to them a variety of different genres and text types, such as fiction, nonfiction, as well as poetry. And then throughout the year, we're going to have your child read to us, and this is something that you can also practice at home daily, whether it be through invented reading, picture reading, having them retell a story. They can point out sight words they see in books, or just conventional reading. Also throughout the year, we will be focusing on reading comprehension skills. So in our fiction unit, we will have the students retell the characters in the story, the setting, and then sequence the events from beginning, middle to end. In our nonfiction unit, students will be asked to identify the main idea and supporting details. And we do this through our reader's workshop time, our guided reading time, as well as something you can practice at home. So you can also practice writing with your child at home. We use our Zahner-Bloser letter formation, and throughout our kindergarten year, your child will be writing stories, whether it's narratives, and they'll be working on writing how-to books, and towards the end of the year, they'll be working on writing opinion pieces of writing. All right, and this is a slide that highlights different literacy activities students will be engaged in throughout the year. So they will have times when they're reading on the iPads. We have handwriting books to practice our letters and our numbers, as well as words. And they'll be engaged in reading to self, reading with a buddy, working in small reading groups with the teachers. In the bottom left, you see a picture of a student working on their writing. So we'll do that every day, as well as word study where we focus on a spelling pattern. And so we do a lot of different literacy activities throughout the year.
All right, now we're going to shift over to math, and we have a lot of fun in math in kindergarten. We work on a lot of various skills. So we practice counting to 100 by ones, and then we also practice counting to 100 by tens. And counting is something we do every single day throughout the day. Fun activities with it during calendar, when we line up, all sorts of times. We count like crazy. We practice naming the 2D and 3D shapes. They work on writing and identifying their numbers, 0 through 20. They work on comparing numbers and quantities. So we talk about greater than, less than, and equal to, and figuring out how we compare those numbers. We use 10 frames. We use manipulatives. We use a lot of different ways to help them compare their numbers. We talk a lot about partners. So for numbers 1 through 5, we start with partners. So if you're looking at 5, 2 partners are 2 and 3. So we talk a lot about what are the number partners, breaking those numbers apart. Again, we start from 1 through 5, and then we move on to 6 through 10. So that's a big part of our math practice, because that's included with addition and subtraction and just getting that solid number sense. We work on, again, addition and subtraction within 5. Then we move on to addition and subtraction within 10. Again, we give them a variety of strategies to use, manipulatives, we have cubes, we have counters. We have all kinds of fun things that they can work with. We do a lot of fun math games where we practice addition and subtraction. We do story problems with addition and subtraction. So we work a lot on this, again, starting within that 5 group and then moving within 10. We also work on seeing teen numbers, so breaking apart those teen numbers and seeing them as a group of 10 and then some more. So we work on really understanding and building that number sense. We work on counting objects, classifying objects, and then just learning to solve problems in different ways. So we really want to expand their math brains and get them to be able to solve problems with different strategies, use a strategy that works best for them, and then also explain their math thinking and be able to have that math dialogue. So these pictures just show a few of the fun activities we do during math to really reinforce and teach those skills. We do a lot of fun games on the iPad that they can play either on their own or in partners. We do, like I said, a lot of fun things with manipulatives where they have counters to put on boards. They play a lot of fun math games that reinforce the counting, the classifying, greater than, less than, addition, subtraction. We have a lot of fun in our math lessons, some workbook activities that we do. We use a lot of different tools to help them understand the different strategies they can use, they can use on their own too to help them solve their problems. And we also use Seesaw to help them explain their math thinking. They can actually solve the problem on Seesaw. Then they can go back and explain it so we can understand what their thinking is too, and they can show us, the way that they're solving the problem and the way that they've thought through the problem, and then we can even share it with the whole class. We can share it with parents at home. It's a really neat way to really dive in and look to see what their math thinking looks like.
This slide is talking about our social science and science curriculum that your child will be engaged in during the year. These are exciting units that are hands-on and interactive. In the area of social science, we will start the year out with talking about choices. That would be rules, being responsible, respectful, and cooperative. Some of the activities we'll do are coming up with classroom rules and expectations, both in our classroom and in our building and at recess and lunch. A lot of these things will tie closely with our SEL and how we are good listeners and use our listening skills, our whole body listening. Some of the other themes that we'll cover in social science are relationships, heritage and communication, and places. These themes will all focus on connections, where students will be looking at how we connect to each other and how we connect to our world. Some of these wonderful topics we'll cover will be communities, needs and wants, environment. We'll look at urban and rural. And then we finish up the year looking at Mexico, and students have an opportunity to compare their life in Naperville to life in Mexico City. In the area of science, this will be divided into units by trimesters. And all of these units are very exciting for students as they have the opportunity to be a scientist and an engineer. We focus on those STEM skills where the students will work on models, making a model, conducting experiments and observations and asking questions. One of the things we'll do in all of these units is students will have the chance to say, what do I know? And what do I notice? And what am I wondering? This is part of being a scientist and asking questions. In trimester 1, we'll focus on weather. In trimester 2, we'll look at push and pull and forces. And in the last trimester 3, we'll look at animal and plant relationships. Here's some pictures to show some of our fun social science and science activities. You'll see many of our field trips that we do will include some of that science and social science. We also, in the bottom picture there, shows the kids with headbands. We celebrate the holidays, and we'll talk about what the holidays mean and why we celebrate them, and a lot of times do really fun activities and crafts to go along with that. Some of the outside pictures there are some of our wonderful hands-on science activities that the kids will be engaged in. A very exciting day that we have in kindergarten is celebrating the 100th day of school. This is a very fun, very exciting, look forward to day where students will first have the opportunity to create a shirt to wear with a 100 collection, and then they will have opportunities on 100th day to count and build 100 items, and we just spend the whole day just having a great time with fun activities. It will have a song and a parade, and it's just a really fun opportunity to use our counting skills and understanding that base 10 system building up to 100.
All right, this next page highlights some of the other fun activities that we do throughout the year in kindergarten. The top left as well as the bottom left pictures show our recess time, having fun playing in the snow and on the playground equipment. In the top middle picture, that's from our fall party. So we have different holiday parties throughout the year. In the bottom middle picture is our book fair, which we have around conference times. In the top right, on the first day of kindergarten, we take a picture of each kindergartner with our special first day of kindergarten sign. And then in the bottom right is a picture of one of our many assemblies that students get to be a part of throughout the year.
All right, and in kindergarten, one of the big skills we like to build is that independence skill. So there are things that we work on at school and the same things that you can work on at home too to help build their independence for at home and at school as well. So for example, asking for help. So knowing when they need help and knowing that they can ask for it is an important one. And how to ask for help. Problem solving, so figuring out, what's a problem that they have, can they solve it on their own, and how can they solve it. Organization is a big piece. So they now have folders and pencils and scissors and glue, and how can they organize their materials so they're not losing papers and losing things and things aren't getting crumpled and things like that. So we work a lot on organization to help them keep their supplies in order and help them keep their work looking great. Following multi-step directions is an important one. So being able to follow each step that the teacher has given. So, we start a lot of the year, we begin by, here's step one, what's step one? And they repeat that to us. Then there's step two, what's our step two? And they repeat it back to us. So we really build on following those multi-step directions. We work on the proper pencil grip when they're writing. Same thing with scissor grip. So holding the scissors the right way and cutting on that straight line or the curvy line, whatever line it may be, but following that line when they cut. Big one, zipping coats and winter clothes, getting on their boots. So when it gets to be winter time, when we go and play out in the snow, they have all that snow gear. So the more you can practice with them at home, the better, because they can get ready and get in line faster. So getting their boots on, their snow pants on, their gloves, being able to zip their coats. We know a lot of kiddos won't come in knowing how to zip, and that's totally fine. We're here to help, but it's a skill that we want to build and help them work on to be able to do on their own. Same thing with tying shoes. Again, we realize that most kiddos won't know how to tie shoes coming in. We hope that that's something that maybe they leave kindergarten knowing how to do. Again, it's fostering and developing that independence. Opening their lunch bags and containers. Now, again, we have lunchroom supervisors there to help. They are happy to help open things when needed, but it would be great for your kiddo if you could practice over the summertime, opening their own containers, opening their bags. You can have practice lunches to get them ready for lunchtime when they're sitting in the cafeteria with all the other kiddos and eating their lunch. Like I said, there are always people there to help them when they need it, but it might be easier for them if they know how to do it on their own and they can feel more comfortable and more confident when they go. Bathroom procedures. We all have bathrooms in our classrooms, but it's very helpful to practice with your kiddo what they need to do when they're in the bathroom by themselves. So how they can make sure they go in, they do what they need to do, and then they come out, making sure they're washing their hands, making sure they're keeping things clean, just going over those bathroom procedures with them and to make sure that they know that, what they need to do by themselves when they go into the bathroom in the classroom. And then buckling and unbuckling seatbelts. This is just for the drop-off pickup line. So in order to make things run smoothly, to make sure they're safe, you could practice them buckling their own seatbelt or unbuckling. So if you're planning on going in the car line or the drop-off line, just making sure that they can unbuckle their seatbelt so they're ready to hop out. And again, at the end of the day, when they hop in, if they know how to buckle their own seatbelt, everything goes a lot more smoothly. All right, and thank you so much, kindergarten families and kindergartners, for listening to our presentation. We are so excited to have you next year. We can't wait. We hope you are excited for kindergarten. You are ready to come and learn, and we are all here and excited to meet you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
All right, thank you. About our school, a little bit of information. In 1974, Maplebrook opened with an open footprint. Over the years, some walls have come up, but we've basically functioned in a pod environment. The school has gone through some new additions and renovations, including a main office area, a health office, and the complete redesign of our learning commons. And it's an exciting place for students to learn, and I can't wait for you to be able to see it. We serve about 545 students, early childhood through 5th grade. Wiley is our mascot, and we encourage proud behavior. Proud behavior is our character building characteristics in which students are expected to show characteristics such as persistence, responsibility, ownership, welcoming, attitude, and leadership in all areas of the school. So the next steps are, how do I enroll my child? If you haven't already done so, please log into Naperville203.org, our home page, where you'll learn a little bit of information as far as how to get your student enrolled. Please note that there'll be an intake form that will be asked of you, and then you'll receive an email as far as the next steps to verify residency. Our central enrollment office will be verifying that residency through that online enrollment process for all students who are 5 years old on or before September 1st, 2020. Please know that there is a health requirement, but it doesn't have to be completed by the time that you enroll your student. So we ask that you please enroll your student right away so that we can get he or she on a roster. Our health tech and nurse will be stopping in shortly to give you some more information regarding those health requirements. Some parents elect to choose half a day, and that's completely okay. Our students arrive at 8:15 for instruction as our full day students, and they dismiss around 10:45 or 11 o'clock in some cases, depending on our lunch schedule. We do like our half day students to stay with us up through their lunch, and then they're dismissed for the rest of the day. So what about transportation? Maplebrook is primarily a neighborhood school, but we do have students that qualify for bus transportation, and they must live 1.5 miles from our school. So what do kindergarten specials look like? Art once per week, music twice per week, PE twice per week, and learning commons twice per week. All areas of our specials, they get to meet with a dynamic specials teacher, with art for 50 minutes, music, PE, and LC for 25 minutes each time they meet with their specials teacher. So lunch. What does kindergarten lunch look like? Well, our students are able to eat lunch. They can purchase a lunch through Aramark, our outside vendor. And then many kindergartners bring their own lunch. The preference is totally up to the students. They get to eat lunch with their classmates in a supportive environment, and kind of just relax and unwind from the day. Recess is 20 minutes, and it's also included in the lunch schedule. So some parents may elect to enroll or register for the dual language lottery. In District 203, we do have a Spanish dual language program, and the initiative behind the dual language program is really to educate students to become bilingual, biliterate, and multicultural. The dual language program is not only for those students whose native language is Spanish, but it's also for those students whose native language is English. And the class is primarily comprised of both native language students, those in English and those in Spanish. So some things that you to consider if interested in the dual language program is that students are learning the content of math, science, and social studies in 2 languages throughout the day. There's also an opportunity to have some cross-cultural connections in which students get to learn a little bit about the Spanish culture as well as the English-speaking culture. So what if you are interested in the dual language program? If you're interested in the dual language program, it's important that you register and enroll your student by May 15th and elect to be placed into the lottery. As stated before, we have students that come from an English native language background, and that's comprised about 50% of the class, whereas the other 50% of the class, their home language is comprised of the Spanish language. Again, the key important detail here is actually May 15th, and the dual language program is not at Maplebrook, but rather at Riverwoods Elementary. So students that are have the dual language program in their school are other elementary schools listed in this presentation. But again, those students that pertain to Maplebrook would not attend Maplebrook for the dual language program, but would rather attend Riverwoods. Again, key information here is that it's a lottery and students must be enrolled and signed up for that lottery by May 15th. If you want to learn more, you can learn more about the dual language program on our district website, www.naperville203.org.
Hi, I'm Katie Casey. I'm the school nurse at Maplebrook Elementary School.
Hi, I'm Bridget Cahill. I'm the health tech at Maplebrook Elementary School.
I'm at Maplebrook Elementary School 2.5 days a week, and I'm also in the district the other 2.5 days. You can reach me anytime by email, or you can call my office direct phone number, which you'll get that information at the end of this presentation. If your child has a health condition or needs medication, please contact me by email prior to school starting so we can make a plan for your child's health needs. Bridget and I work closely together, so if I'm not at the school, we communicate all the time either by phone or email. So just wanted to give you a heads up, and here's Bridget.
As health tech, I'm in the building 5 days a week, providing first aid treatment and care to your children. So I will be getting to know the kids pretty well. One of the things I wanted to talk about is that we don't call the parents every time a child is in the health office. We would just call them for sure if there's a head bump. We take head bumps very seriously. We also send home a head injury letter. Another reason I would call is if your child is too sick to stay in school or injured and needs to go home. If that's the case, then you need to bring your photo ID to show to the ladies at the front desk in order to take your child home. I also do attendance, which we will be talking about a little bit later.
Now we're going to discuss some health requirements for kindergarten. The first health requirement that we're going to talk about is the child health exam form and immunization record. This needs to be completed prior to the first day of school. We will accept exams that were completed anytime after August 19th, 2019. The form needs to be completed by a licensed physician, nurse practitioner, or physician assistant. They complete the bottom section of page 2, as well as the immunization record on page 1. The parent needs to complete the health history for the child on the top of page 2 and sign it for it to be complete. Again, we also need the immunization records, which are verified by a healthcare practitioner. Another requirement is a vision exam. The vision screening that's often completed in preschool does not meet the requirement of a vision exam. It needs to be completed by a licensed optometrist or an ophthalmologist. We will accept any vision exam that's been completed after August 19, 2019. Finally, the last health requirement is a dental exam. This is not required until May 15th, 2021, but we will accept any exam performed anytime between November 15th, 2019 and May 15, 2021. Just want to remind you that kindergarten attendance is and engagement in their work is important because kindergarten is the foundation for their education. Finally, if you have any questions or concerns, you may contact me, Katie Casey, at kmcasey@naperville203.org. This is also my direct line when I'm in the building, but right now we're not in the building. And I'm going to let Bridget speak to you about attendance right now.
Our attendance procedure is to call the health office, or you can email the health office when your child will be sick or on vacation or another reason why they won't be in that day. We ask that you call the office as our procedure, because if you just email the teachers, which you can do, you know, as a courtesy, but you also need to let the health office know because we can't always be in contact with the teachers during the day while they're in instruction time. If you do know that your child is going to be absent for several days, you can just let me know, that one time, and then I'll mark them out so you don't have to call every day. And yeah, I think that's it about attendance.
Thank you all for joining us. And again, please contact us with any health needs.
Hi, my name is Amanda Zigterman, and I am the current Maplebrook Home and School President. Home and School is our parent-teacher organization at Maplebrook. You might be more familiar with PTA or PTO, but in District 203, we use a Home and School Association. All parents and guardians are automatically members, so welcome aboard. Throughout your child's time at Maplebrook, you may have ideas or feedback about a program that we're already doing. Please share that with Home and School. It's critical if we're going to make this the best place we can for all of our families. What does Home and School do? We provide volunteers. You'll often find parents at the school doing a variety of things. We do help with room parties for different holidays, and we volunteer in the Learning Commons. If you're not familiar, the Learning Commons is the library, but super powered. It's more than just checking out books now, and it's really awesome. Home and School also raises money for Maplebrook through a variety of programs and events. Some of those are listed here. And finally, we promote learning and community, again, through events and different programs offered to our students. How can you help? Fun Fest is typically held in early spring, and this is a great time for our students. It's a great time for our parents to just be social and get outside. Book fair is held twice a year during parent-teacher conferences, one in the fall and one in the spring. Stop by, purchase some books. We do sell butter braids and cookie dough throughout the year, and that's your more traditional fundraiser. We collect box tops, and we organize food nights, and that's where we encourage our families to visit a particular restaurant during a certain time, and a percentage of those sales come back to Home and School. Another way to support our school is by purchasing and wearing spirit wear. You can find that link on the Home and School piece of the Maplebrook website. And if you follow the link and make a purchase during the school year, those sales are actually delivered right to your student's classroom. And again, a percentage of sales comes back to Home and School. Another way to support us is by purchasing school supplies through our vendor. You are welcome to use your school supply list and head to a store and pick out all those items, or you can log on to the website, click and purchase, and those school supplies will be in your child's classroom on their first day of school. The ordering deadline for this year is June 1, so don't wait. What do we do with these funds that we're raising? The first thing that our students are excited about and we are proud to do is provide funding for field trips. Almost all field trips at Maplebrook are, the cost is covered almost in its entirety by Home and School. The second, we provide funding for the Learning Commons, both for books and other supplies. We provide each student with a book on their birthday. We're proud to provide a small allowance for each teacher so they can purchase supplies and other items, and we cover that cost for them. Our 3rd through 5th grade students are excited each year to have a roller skating unit, and we cover the rental costs for that. We also provide funding for assemblies and for class parties. So how can you get involved? If you haven't already, I encourage you to follow us on Facebook. You can search at Maplebrook HSA or just Maplebrook Home and School. It's a great way to keep on top of what's happening. You'll get reminders about due dates, upcoming events. Please follow us there. Finally, in addition, we have monthly Home and School meetings, and we alternate the time for those between morning and evening. We encourage you to stop by when you're able. It's a great way to find out what's going on, meet more people, and get involved. If you have questions about any of these programs or another way to get involved, you can always reach out by email. It's maplebrookh&s@gmail.com. Again, you can order spiritware, or you can sign up on our volunteer list. Each year we create a volunteer list in the spring to look for volunteers for the following year. So by clicking on the link, you can see all the different committees that need members, and you can express interest in joining one or many committees. At this point, you're not committing to any firm date or to doing any task. You're just saying you're interested. So when the committee chair goes to plan, they have a group of people they can reach out to. Finally, we want to encourage you to mark your calendar. We have some tentative plans for kindergarten kickoff on Friday, August 14th at 6 p.m. Weather permitting, we'll be outside on the back playground. It's just a chance to get together for our kindergartners to see one another and find out who might be in their class with them. And then immediately following, for the whole school, we have popsicles with the principal. Again, a chance for people to get together after summer, find out about what you've done this summer and what your plans are for fall. It'll be a great time. We hope to see you there. Thanks so much.
Hi, let's talk about main office support. So you'll have the opportunity to meet 2 lovely ladies in our main office that are there to serve all of our families. First and foremost, you might be first acquainted with Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones is our senior secretary and really is the first point of contact for our kindergarten families regarding enrollment. Mrs. Gomez is our executive secretary who frequently works with me, but you may become familiar with her as she answers the phone, or she needs to contact you regarding billing or school fees. Website communication is so important. Our Maplebrook school website is a one-stop shop and primary resource for all information Maplebrook. We have different areas that we feel that are very quick and easy to find information that our parents are seeking. Our spotlight shows important things that are happening currently at Maplebrook. We also have the news items, where many items that make it into a parent newsletter are uploaded for easy reading for our families. And then quick links is probably the place that you'll visit the most, as we know that parents have many questions around certain topics, and we have given those links right away in that quick link section to help resolve any questions that you have. Please tune in the summer as our calendar for the 2021 school year is uploaded so you can become familiar and aware of what's happening at Maplebrook in the fall. So you will receive some messages from our district or Maplebrook School, and we call that our Talk 203s from their district emails. Does send things out to our parents as far as happenings and events around District 203. Talk Maplebrook is an email that you will receive Fridays at 4 o'clock, or our Wiley Wag. Each week that highlights events that are upcoming, and sometimes some calendar events that we would like to get on those family calendars, well in advance. You also may receive information from the school on days that may not be Friday or 4 o'clock. That has to do with some special circumstance or reminders of some important events or information that is upcoming. Please follow us at Maplebrook 203 on Twitter. On Twitter, we do frequently upload pictures and information about Maplebrook. And then as well as our Maplebrook Home and School has a Facebook page that also has much information that's pertinent to our Maplebrook families. Infinite Campus is an important aspect of our student information system and really important to our families for many reasons. Infinite Campus is the place where our families return and do their online enrollment, as well as in August, log in to see which classroom teacher has been assigned to their student, the access report card information, as well as signs up for the fall for parent-teacher conferences via PTC Wizard. Login information will be forthcoming for that as well. Kindergarten teachers especially use a learning management system called Seesaw. There they frequently communicate their parent newsletter, respond to parent questions, and upload videos and students at work in their classroom. We appreciate the time that you've given us to listen to this information, and we hope that many of your questions were answered today. If they haven't, please refer to the email sent to you prior, where a Google form has been highlighted for you to access and submit any questions that may not have been answered here. Our classroom teachers, our health office, and our main office will be getting together to look and review questions and get back to you as promptly as we can. We're wishing you a wonderful summer, and we look forward to meeting your kindergarten student in the fall.